Welcome to the Fantasy League edition of A Slice of Golf. This is, it's episode 2 of this, but it all kind of goes into one podcast, doesn't it? But we did this last week for a first time, just a little taster, see how it went down. Reports have been good so far, so we're going to keep it going. And Tim wouldn't let us not do it this week because, well, Tim, can I just let you take this away? Do you want to let us know how you got on last week?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it? It wasn't I had a really lovely weekend.
Let's pause for a second, Tim. If anything, let me intro it like this. Before we started recording, Tim's first question was, do you reckon we can up the entry fee for next week? He's that confident that he's done well this week, first time playing, and now wants to up the entry fee.
He's trying to hustle us all for his
I did say on this last week, I did say I was confident. I did say that I thought I picked a belter of a team. And I'll also go out on a limb by saying that this week, I'm not that confident about my team.
Let's review last week. Weren't you at like 200 points by end of day one? Like, it was something ludicrous. I've never seen scoring like it. It was unbelievable. And to be fair, there was lots of high scoring going on, not from me or Ben. But there were some good scores in there. There was only 4 points that separated you from second, and it was quite down to the wire, wasn't it?
It was pretty tight. And considering that my 200, I think I was on 200 or 204, something like that. Considering that to get to there, I think I had a co-leader and at least 2 people that were tied for second, and maybe the 4th place person. There was some plenty good picking going on. I was doing that, and people were still within 4 points.
2-man field, and you've got the top 4 riders.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And I literally was looking at your team going, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but Tim has picked the huge.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Who did you have? Remind us who you had on your team.
Yeah, so I had Billy Horschel, who came in with second. And actually, I will say that it did take actually his birdie putt on the 17th to win it for me, because at whatever time it was, 10 to 11 last night. We're recording this on the Monday, by the way. 10 to 11 last night, I was actually in 3rd place. So I needed that putt to go back up to first. Yeah, absolutely. So I had Billy Horschel, who came in second. I had Webb, who came tied 6th. Patrick Reed tied 9th. Tony Finau, who's 14th. And then after that, I had Lanto Griffin. Again, you mocked me, but
I know.
Did the business again.
Really did.
6 under for the weekend. Came in tied 22nd, and wrapping up was Neiman 28th.
Yeah.
As much as I threw you under the bus last week for it, I did kind of scroll past Lanto Griffin this week because I knew he had a good week. I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
Someone I scrolled past.
I basically looked at Tim's team from last week and picking this week. I was like, who do I want from this team? Yeah, so Tim won the paid comp for Sunday Red, beating 29 other people to get that first place. So solid win. And that obviously meant that, Tim, you get another 3 points on the board for the Slice of Golf Championship that's going on. Ben, I always feel like, we'll mention the winner, second and third. We can just ignore who came second and third. Ben, you managed to get the second place this week, getting yourself another point. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I pipped you by 14, which is actually nothing. That's a birdie or 2. I was the writing was on the wall looking at Tim after day one. I did think shit, and I thought massive own goal on my part by picking Bryson, because as much as I thought he would have gone away, worked on his game and come back on fire, it turned out he just carried on that form and started off terribly. He did turn it around, but it's something I mentioned to both of you two in our group chat. I think I learned a lesson from this weekend was don't pick players you're not so hot on, because I struggled to get behind Bryson even when he was on a hot streak, because I've just, I've touched upon the podcast before. He's not my favourite golfer. So that was definitely a lesson from there. And also listen to your head, not your heart. Last week I went with my heart, went with Justin Rose. Nothing other than the fact that, we all love Justin Rose, that we, and he duly delivered with a total of 5 over par, which doesn't give you much hope when Tim's playing players that are shooting 15 under par.
Yeah.
A 20-stroke difference.
Yeah. It gets to the point, doesn't it, where you're like, even after day one, I was going through like the head-to-head view on the app, and I was like, okay, he's 1 up here, 2 up, 7 up, 12 up. I'm like, it's day one. I'm already 15 shots behind. This is bonkers. Like, how is this even possible? Nuts. Who else did you have, Ben? Have we gone through everyone there?
No. So it was Bryson. Let me just get it up. Bryson, Tony Finau. He had another solid tournament. But I kind of got to the stage, we all love Tony so much, and he just grinds out second places. So he was almost a cert any time he plays now. Neiman, who finished on 5 under. Leishman on 1 under. And then Kokrak. Kokrak was a good pick, finished on 11 under. He kind of justified that. Leishman was a bit of, actually surprised me. I was expecting him to do a lot better. But he's still finishing a tie for 39th, which is not too bad. So I suppose that's still a pretty good position to finish in a tournament like that. And I think segueing from like when we do segue from that tournament to this week's one, we've obviously already picked this week's teams. I know we were all feeling pretty hot and confident, and I'm sure pretty much everyone was feeling confident after last week. And there's a good reason for that, and that's because the field was absolutely stacked with talent. And they were all at a good price. Yeah. This one is a lot more challenging to pick out. Yeah. So I kind of echo Tim's statement in that. Well, last week I was pretty confident, didn't come off. This week I'm a little bit edgy on it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, fair. I'm looking at my team here. Xander, who was 1 under overall, just really thought he was going to do better than that. Hatton was up. He had such an up and down. If you're watching his scoring, he was like 3 under. Level par 3 holes later. I'm like, dude, come on, helping my team here. But he finished the round 4 3 under, which is obviously good going into this next week. Neiman I had at 5 under. Ben, you rinsed me for having Ortiz in there. He finished 8 under, tied 15th, and I think is now like 6th or something in the FedEx Cup rankings or whatever. He's doing really well. Ryan Palmer, you were right to rinse me for that one. He finished on +5 there, tied with Justin Rose. And Horschel on 15 under, tied 2nd. So what normally 465 points I feel like I'll be quite pleased with, I'm absolutely devastated with this week. So let's quickly move on from that. It's 3 points to Tim for the Slice of Golf Championship. It's a point for Ben and another big fat 0.
You say.
Only positive is, as there was no cut, all players everywhere made the cut. So well done, team. Looking ahead, this week we do have a cut. This week is the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Bay Hill Club and Lodge in Florida. Do you want me to go through the last 5 winners? Shall I give you an insight into these before we dive in? So,
yeah, I saw these after I'd picked my team.
Yeah, and I want you to notice one common thread, which I wish I'd paid attention to before I'd picked my team. The last 5 winners: Hatton, Molinari, McIlory, Leishman, and Day.
All non-Americans.
Wish I'd thought about this before picking my team.
I got 5.
Good. You 3, 4 Americans in mine.
Turns out Europeans play well at Bay Hill. So mixed in terms of strength of field. But one thing is, you've already mentioned there, Ben, going through the players, everyone you want to pick is roughly $1,200 to $1,800 more expensive than they were last week, which I found putting a team together quite tough this week. So I'm interested to see what you guys have done. Ben, I'm going to start with you. Talk us through your lineup, who you got, why you've got them,
I kind of went down the route of pick 1 under, pick 1 over, and kind of that sort of way. So, in actual fact, I picked from the top first, and then gradually work my way down the list. So then we've got a close gap between my 3rd and 4th players. Okay. Probably the same as you two, probably the same as everyone else who's entering this week with a brain cell. We've gone Victor Hovland at the start. Just for the case of not necessarily really wanting him to be in the team, because I am, but also it's an essential because everyone else is going to have him. And his last 4 starts, he's come 2nd, 6th, 5th, and 2nd. So
have you seen his last 7 starts?
I think.
Let me tell you. So his last 7, where's it gone? I wrote this down because this actually blew my mind. His last 7 starts. What did he say? So 2nd, 5th, 6th, 2nd, 31st, 3rd, and 1st.
Yeah. So you would say he's in quite good form.
In the last 7, he's had 6 top 10s.
So, and also after this weekend, he would have been so much closer to being in contention had he not ballsed up on the night. So he's going to be desperate to right the wrongs from that. And yeah, I mean, he's so easy to support as well. So that was learn my mistake from picking Bryson last week. Second up, I went with Jordan Spieth. Okay, working down the budget. A few good performances. So I said to you last time, I want to see one more from him. He finished 15th, I think. Yeah. I'm like, that is enough for me to have faith that Jordan Spieth is flipping back. So I'm getting in there.
I'm going to go on record. I don't think this is his week.
I don't. Yeah, I just saying.
I thought about it, and then I looked. I was like, no, actually, not this week.
I'm getting in there whilst he's still affordable enough.
Yeah,
because I think he's going to spring up above a lot of players real soon. Yeah. Third, a player I've avoided completely and never even given a thought, and probably wouldn't have done if it was a tournament like last week. But this week, because it's a bit thin on the ground, I went with Zalatoris. Just young lad coming in.
He's on fire.
Yeah,
he's on fire.
That's
not a risky pick, I don't think.
I don't know, because I just kind of feel with all young players, there's a moment where they just kind of hit a brick wall, and I don't want it to be this weekend. Next one down. This is my third and fourth pick, which are nearing in value. I went with Jason Kokrak again. Mm-hmm. I know you shouldn't really show loyalty, but another superb performance. It's two good ones in a row. He's just looking solid, so just keep riding that horse. Now this is where we start getting to slim pickings without disrespecting these players so much. Obviously, when you start lumping on Spieth and Hovland, it's going to dent your budget a little bit. So I went with Matt Naismith.
Sure.
Top 10 in the waste management.
Yeah. Solid.
So he's my.
How much is he?
Oh God, you put me on the spot here. He's my counter, or my balance weight to Jordan Spieth.
Okay. Okay.
And then here we go. Let's get him up. Oh, bollocks. But then my final one was down as I don't want to insult him here, but my real basement pick, my real low level, low price, low cost pick, someone who churns out made cuts. Kyle Stanley. Hasn't come outside the top 40 in his past 5 starts. So all I'm thinking is make the cut, make it to the weekend, and then let's just see how many.
He was cheap too, 6.5.
Yeah,
he's been in my team several times recently for that exact reason. Make a cut. Don't care where you finish, just make a cut. Make the cut, get 50, 60 points, make the cut. Him and Matt Evans, but Matt Evans is now quite expensive. I'm sure he was in the 8,000s now. He's obviously had 2 good weeks. But yeah, no, I like that. So just go through that quickly. Hovland.
Victor Hovland. Jason Kokrak. Oh shit, it's jumbled them up. Matt Naismith, Jordan Spieth, Kyle Stanley, and Will Zalatoris.
Nice. Awesome. Like it. Timbo, who have you got?
I found this week incredibly difficult to pick. So my approach was basically pick one gold star, if you like, and then load up the 7,000 to 9,000 players. Exactly as Ben said, I've put Hovland in there. I just think you have to, because his form is just outstanding, and exactly as he said, there's the security of knowing that he's probably going to be in the vast majority of other people's teams this weekend. So it's going to be a case of, you can't do better than me if you have the same player as me. That's kind of hopefully going to be in the top 5.
Well, they could definitely do better than you if Hovland completely fucks up.
And if you're the one foolish enough or ballsy enough to leave Hovland out this week, and
I do think that's a play. I think that's a play.
Chris,
risk.
just a reminder, you're sitting on 0 points. In the league.
Oh, yeah. Well
By the way,
played.
is this the point where we add in that we are using zero data analysis and actual stats to make these come here for actual, like to find out actual research and picks on who you should put in your betting fantasy league team, because you will not get the right approach here.
So I opened up with with Hovland, no brainer for me. I went Billy Horschel again, 8,900, just because again form's been outstanding. He was right up in the mix until sort of the dying stages of yesterday. After that, as I say, mentioned going with around the 8 to 9,000s. I've actually been trying to get this guy into my team recently, so I've gone with him this week. That's Oosthuizen.
Okay,
He's gone in there. Good form recently. Good scoring average. Just a bit of a banker. I reckon that's a safe bet. After this, it starts getting a bit funky. I won't lie to you.
That's budget spent by now. I feel like
those are sort of the big numbers. After here, it started going into sort of just looking at recent stats and numbers and sort of looking at players that looked attractive. Harris English.
just the good-looking guys.
No. When I say not these guys are not attractive, by the way. So, absolutely caveat that. Sorry to these players; they don't listen to this. It's fine. Harris English went in there.
Okay.
On the basis of he's had 5 top 10s.
I mean, that is strong.
So that is quite strong. He's made 8 out of 11 cuts. Yeah. So he's going to go in there. Wyndham Clark.
Okay.
Also has had good form recently. Had good results at the Genesis.
I questioned you for that pick, but he was solid there.
Yeah.
The last one, who is absolutely my basement bargain player, who I thought earlier when I picked him, it was a really smart pick and really clever. Now I think it might be an Achilles heel, because he came up and like his scoring stats are really good, but he was only 6,400, which should really have set alarm bells ringing. I've gone with Steve Stricker.
Fine, yeah, I don't think that's.
I considered it, but he hits dobbers, and I can't get behind someone who hits dobbers off a tee. He's got to be able to send it.
But he doesn't hit far. But he's had 5 top 10s. He made 8 out of 10 cuts. Was right up in contention at Waste Management Open. So, yeah, as I say, I'm not completely confident with my team. I'm certainly not as confident as I was last week, but there's a little bit of method in the madness in there.
Like it. I think for me, you got to look at it, and with the cut, you've just got to go, which 6 players are going to make the cut?
Yeah.
Like if you get all 6 through, you're in a very, very strong position. And I think that's I'll go through mine. My first regret already.
That was a regret.
From the tournament, 3 days after the tournament, is not putting Hatton in the team. Last year's winner, he had a mixed week this week, but I feel like he actually might come out and be strong. I've not put him in, and I'm already regretting that. My team lineup, there's some common threads that have gone on.
Wait a minute. Wait. So you've not picked Hatton?
Yeah.
And I think you're also going to reveal someone else you haven't picked as a bit of a bombshell as well.
No.
Based on some... Oh, okay.
No, pick number one, Victor Hovland, straight in there.
Oh, okay. I thought you hadn't picked him. I was about to...
Victor Hovland straight in there. I couldn't not pick it. It was basically him or Hatton. I was just like, I'm going to have to go. I think Victor Hovland, I feel, and this is gut feeling, no stats, no nothing, is in a better place, but and is defending champ. So Victor Hovland's gone in there. Number 2, Billy Horschel, 8,900, had to go in.
He was my toss up between him and Jordan Spieth, but I went with Spieth. Just heart. I've just gone against my old advice. Heart. Completely.
I think Billy played some really, really, really strong golf this week. I think he's just that's a full pro. I'm just like, yeah, he'll do well. And I've then gone with Molinari. Francesco Molinari won it 2 years ago. Has consistently been in the top 10s there, and the last, I want to say, 4 comps he's been in. He's
coming
gone
back.
he's gone 8th, 10th, 59th, 8th. So he started hitting some, one dodgy one in there, but some relatively good form. And I just feel like he knows he can play well here. I feel like it's he was quite like 8,700 was more than I thought he'd be, but gone in there. Zalatoris straight in for me. He was like one of the first ones. He's that mid pick that I can just I'll say it now, and this will be the curse, but 26 out of 27 cuts, like the dude makes a cut. Obviously, that's going to be like commentator's curse now, but and he's playing some really, really good golf, and that left. He was 8,600, and that has left me with very little left for the last 2 years. So I've got Kyle Stanley at 6,500. I think he's someone who's been in before. He makes cuts, never finishes above 30th, but is always in that 30
to 40 range.
30 to 40 range. And then someone is a new pick for me, not been used before. Doug Gim. He's been seen him talked about quite a bit in recent events. I'm just going for make the cut.
He's got good solid name as well.
Yeah, he did miss the cut at the Genesis, but before that he'd been playing quite well. So
I'm going to select players that have made the cut. So I'm going to choose a guy who didn't make the cut in his last event.
Last 4 events, his points have been 100, 76, 75, 29. So I feel like he's a risky pick, but I've front loaded the top 4 so that if one of those bottom 2 don't make it, I still feel like I'm relatively confident.
Okay.
And if he doesn't make it, winning.
So you've gone top heavy, really.
Say it again.
So you've kind of gone top heavy, really.
Yeah, I've gone. So I've got 4 players all above 8,600. Instead of I've got no one in the 7,000 range, which I've not done. Normally, I've got 2 players or 1 player at least in the 7,000 range. I try not to go below 7,000. This week I've got 2 in the 6s.
I started off today looking at trying to keep everyone around that same budget, and it just was impossible to put together a good team. It just
so tough.
Crap. So I was just like, right, restart, go top, bottom, and then gradually work my way towards that centre line.
Yeah,
I like that. I think that's a good way to do it. I think Spieth is that's a good way to do it. And I'm on 0 points. You're on 2, and Tim's on 6.
Oh, come on! I won last time.
Oh, you won last week.
We're both on 4.
We're on 4.
4 and 0. Shit, really need a win. Don't
you've got some catching up to do.
Really need a win. So those are our teams. Is there anyone that you really like? We need to watch out for those, apart from Hovland, obviously.
I feel like this is going out on a limb, but I do think as an outsider, you need to watch Harris English this weekend.
Okay, yeah. Not just because you picked him.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously because I've picked him. But his form has been decent. His scoring has been very strong. His average scoring is better than Oosthuizen's, better than Wyndham Clark's.
Oh.
So I don't think a lot of people picking him, no one will be really speaking about him, but keep an eye on him.
Well, I think you've got to keep an eye out for any of the previous winners. The 5 that you've shown there. I think if you're going back to a place where you feel comfortable, you feel good, form can kind of go out the window. We've seen it before. Players going into tournaments with no form, but because they've won there before, they feel great and they go into it. So all 5 are going to be there that you've mentioned there. And I saw that list of 5 after I'd picked my team, and I was like, I
just couldn't put Leishman in. He's just I looked at him and thought, is he just there on form? And apparently, this is obviously a quick Google telling me this answer. Europeans tend to do well here because it gets windy.
Okay,
is apparently the reason.
Could have done with googling that myself, to be totally honest.
Well, I mean, when I googled that while we've been talking. So, is there any other Europeans that we know of playing that we think now might do?
Oh, Westy. Westy's typically pretty good on British soil when the weather's crap. Big hearty northerner. He is.
Is Fleetwood playing this weekend?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Fleetwood.
Fleetwood and Westwoods, yeah. I would say it was pretty good picks. So we've just given everyone away all the golden nuggets. So you've got a few days to go and assemble a team that absolutely spanks us.
Yeah. Listen to what we
welcome.
Go opposite of what we've done, and you're in with a good chance. Actually, no. Tim is pro right now with one podcast done on this and one outstanding win. So Tim's looking like the expert. New business for Tim. Gambling tips. Not here.
Absolutely not going to go on record saying that. No chance.
Yeah.
And there's a solid chance that it all comes crashing down this weekend.
Yeah, I did get the guy who won the free league messaged me being like, I'm thinking he's won it now twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. He's like, maybe I'll do the $2 entry one this week. I was like, that means that you'll finish last, right? Because as soon as you come into the paid one, I'm saying you got a good form, you are buggered. You're screwed. You're going down to the bottom. So that's where you'll find yourself. But we've got another full 30 people. We're recording this on Monday night. 30 people have already joined the paid league, so that league is full already. I feel like I might have to increase the number of entrants available for that next week. But absolutely buzzing. You guys are all enjoying this and loving it and getting involved. Absolutely loving it. All right, so that's it. Anything else for you guys to add, or should we end it there?
No, nothing more from me.
We'll wrap it up there. Awesome. Hope your teams do well this week. Obviously not as well as mine, but still wish you all the best. And we will catch you next week. See you later.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.